Welcome to the Galt Vaults. I'm Nicole Wilkinson, a collections assistant here at the Galt Museum and Archives in Lethbridge, Alberta. And today we've snuck up into the exhibition space to talk to you about some handmade clothing items. Here at the Galt Museum and Archives, we have a lot of handmade pieces in our collection. That isn't too surprising since before the 1960s, almost all our clothes were made at home. It was only as modern clothing sizes became more regulated and mass-produced clothing became cheaper to buy than make that skills like knitting and sewing became more of a hobby than an essential life skill. So, of course, we're still being approached with people that want to donate handmade items made after the 1960s because people still love handmade things. They love to make them, they love to gift them, they love to receive them, and often something handmade and unique can become one of your most cherished belongings. Now, in previous Galt Vaults, we've mentioned that an item's uniqueness isn't necessarily what interests us as a museum. Rather, it's the connections, the memories, the associations with people in place behind an object that really interest us as a museum. However, in my personal opinion, and it might be a little biased as I'm a maker myself, handmade items can have wonderfully deep connections naturally built into them by virtue of being handmade to the person who made them or the person who uses them as a gift. I certainly think one of our donors, Barb Cavers, would agree with me on this. When she approached the museum with a number of items in February of 2019, she included in that donation these two lovely handmade knit sweaters. Both of them were gifts from different makers in her life. This lovely cream one was a gift from her then mother-in-law, Alice Jensen, who made it in the 1980s. And this bright, fun creation was knit by Barb's own mother, who made it for her in the 1990s. Now, Barb wore both of these for many, many years, going on 2 decades, until she just decided that she wasn't going to do it anymore. Both of these things meant so much to her, they had so many memories attached to them of the people who made it, that she was concerned if she just continued to wear them, they would eventually become too worn down and start falling apart. Handmade objects like these, with the specific memories of the people behind them, aren't that easy to replace. So I will leave you with words of Barb Cavers herself, and she'll tell you all about these absolutely lovely creations and why they were so important to her to preserve and keep that she couldn't trust them with anyone else but us. From the Galt Vaults, I'm Nicole Wilkinson. Be well and keep on making, Lethbridge.
It was a lot of knitting because it has long sleeves and a cuff, and it comes down below the hip, so it's quite long. So it would have been expensive because wool is expensive, and it would have taken a long time. Yeah, I really valued it simply because of the amount of work that went into it. And this sweater is obviously created from scrap yarns, and the shape is from a pattern. But I think she just said, okay, I'm going to change colors now. And she obviously had more gray than anything else, so that's what she used. And some are rectangles, and some are zigzags, and some are, stripy kind of things. And I think she just had fun doing it. But as I say, it just makes me smile because I think of her, the pleasure, that satisfaction it would have given her to be able to use all these little bits and pieces of orange and yellow and green and red and black and pink. And even the buttons are what she could find in her button box.